Hi, this is Lot 76 Cars at the Mercedes-Benz Club event at Hayes. I hope you enjoy some of the fantastic cars we're about to see. So the first car we're starting with is a fantastic R129 SL in this signal red. I'm not sure about that, I'll need to check my facts. It's a 500, so it's one of the bigger engines. I think there was only one above this, I think a 600 possibly. Let's take a look at it. It's an absolutely stunning car, and this red is a bit more unusual than some of the metallic shades we see the car in. And it's got an absolutely lovely leather interior. Notice that part wood finish steering wheel. The car looks like it's been adapted for Bluetooth or hands-free motoring. It's got the electric seats and the leather trims in really good condition. Looks lovely. At the other end of the scale, a much newer Sl55 Amg. Now these are supremely powerful cars. Let's take a closer look at this one as well. This is certainly the one to have, isn't it? Those distinctive vents on the side really make it, don't they? And look at those multi-spoke wheels. And the third car along couldn't be more different. It's my W116s 190 from 1990 in Ascot Grey, so I know a bit more about this than the other cars. Some fantastic cars entering the event, an R107, a later SL. This one's also an AMG, but it's an Sl55 Amg. That sounds really good, doesn't it? And a W124 diesel. Well, in actual fact it's not, it's an S124, isn't it? I keep getting that wrong, but that's in nice order. It looks like it's been lowered a little bit as well. A brilliant R107, also in red, looks in lovely order as well, doesn't it? With the soft top. He's put the hard top away now that the sun came out. I'm only kidding. And this is one of my all-time favourites, owned by quite a few celebrities, the Pagoda SL. The Pagoda, look at that dip in the roof. Doesn't that look absolutely wonderful? It's a beautiful car, isn't it? Great selection of cars here today. And this is a lowered, very lowered, R129 with a sunroof. Must take a look at that. Yes, it appears to have a sunroof. It's hard top and it's a convertible, so you've got multiple options with this car, haven't you? Those wheels are absolutely huge, aren't they? Another C124 arriving. Yeah, it's starting to rain here, but it's not damping the enthusiasm. Look at this other C124. That's a lovely colour. It looks like it's got an AMG, maybe an early MG or a Lorenzo kit or something like that. Looks lovely, doesn't it? And helpfully the owners actually got this one down on the number plate, so I can see it's an R126 SL. Nice colour, isn't it? And another SL here with AMG wheels, and behind it an older S-Class. Let's take a look at that. That looks lovely. This looks unusual, doesn't it? This black chrome parts on this R107. Quite an unusual looking car. I've not seen one with those black details before. I guess looking at the ride height, it's probably, well, it must be on air suspension, mustn't it? So taking a walk down here, we see another, let me get it right, C124 with a personal plate in Almedine red. Not sure about that one. And then of course my favourite, personal favourite here is a lovely W201 like mine, but this one is also in a lovely shade of red as well. And next, this must be a unicorn. This, sadly with the sunroof open, is a very, very, very early W201. It's on the A plate, it's last 3 letters ETO. It might even be a press car because it's right hand drive. It looks like it might be UK spec. But also, take a look at that wiper. Do you recognise the difference? Look at this wiper first of all. And then, if we zoom in on this particular W201, you've got the single pantograph mono wiper. So that must be a very early car. Worth another look, I think. So this has got the pre-facelift bumpers. I'd have to check on the DVLA database, but I reckon it's probably from 83. Now, bearing in mind the car was only debuted in 1982 at the Paris Motor Show. An 83 car, if it is an 83 car, would be very early because that's when UK sales started. It's lovely, isn't it, in this beige. And these are 14 rather than 15. And this is a very early car with the early interior. It's a manual. And my God, these C124s are all the rage, aren't they? So there's one here. So the ones we've already seen. And there's another one here, which I think might be in Bornite Metallic, which is quite an unusual colour, quite a lovely colour as well. Walk around and have a look at the wheels on that one, the pretty big AMG wheels. Well, there's another 190, this one's a later one, so it's a 92, I think, 91, 92 on a J plate. Subtle modifications, but still recognisably the W201 we know and love. Now these Pagoda Sls, I've seen a few of these recently and I never cease to be amazed what a beautiful looking car Mercedes-Benz designed back in the 60s. It's absolutely gorgeous and you can see why they're timeless. What a design. This one with the soft top on, obviously hoping for better weather. Looks good from the front. And fortunately the sun's now coming out to play after a rainy start. Looks lovely, this one, doesn't it? That interior, not sure how well we'll see it on camera, but let's take a look. Hopefully if you can see it. That sounds good, doesn't it? It should do. It's a 450 SL 6.9. Similar to the one James Hunt ran back in the day. Although he had his parked on bricks for a while. That sounds good, even reversing, doesn't it? But doesn't have those all-important reversing sensors. Came a bit later. And this is reputably the most favourite design of Bruno Sacco, the Mercedes-Benz designer at the period. In fact, he allegedly still has one of these in his garage. It's lovely, isn't it? not really appreciated yet are these W140s. I've got a video coming out on one that I found recently somewhere. Probably the last of the tank-built Mercedes. Absolutely lovely, isn't it? And you can pick these up for relatively small money. I can imagine the repair cost is a bit eye-watering, but still, build quality was very good in this period. Now this is a later E-Class, I think a W210. If I'm getting my numbers wrong, feel free to put it in the comments. Nevertheless, it's a beautiful car in black with that low-rider air suspension, which seems to be all the rage, doesn't it? A later E-Class. One more C124 coupe. The more I see these, the more I really like these, especially that sort of pillarless type coupe. Looks really nice and subtle in this trim with those slightly bigger wheels. This is a W126 lowered, but look at that paint finish. Somebody's obviously spent a lot of time polishing that, as you can see at the moment, and it's having a last minute dust over. Launched all the way back in 1972 is this W116s Class. I guess the first of the cars to carry the S or Sonda for special designation. This one's lovely. Looks like a really late car from the registration, 79 or 80 perhaps. I am loving those wipers on the lights. We just don't see those anymore, but at one time they were all the rage, weren't they? I'm not sure that washers are particularly effective on their own without wipers. What a lovely car. Also, I guess, it seems to be common riding on certainly air suspension. It's a pretty packed event here today. As you can see, there are parking spaces all over the place that have been filled, and not much room anymore. I think massively oversubscribed, so thanks to the hosts, CAS Audio, for allowing their premises to be used. Looks lovely, doesn't it? So here's a later SL, but this V8 compressor, so it must be an Sl55 without looking, has got Brabus kit, or certainly Brabus wheels on it. Looks good, doesn't it, in black? The grille looks to have been colour coded on this one. And still arriving, we've got a lovely W124. By the sound of that one, it's certainly packing a bit more than a 240 diesel. And a Pagoda in front of it. We'll take a look at that in a second. Absolutely lovely 280 SE automatic. This looks gorgeous, doesn't it? We'll try and get a closer look at the interior of that one. Now, one of my favourites are these W123s, as you can see here. This is a late one, a B, must be a couple of years before changeover, 84. That's a 230E. Now, I must admit, I do have a soft spot for these W123s. This is a 230. As I mentioned before earlier, it is a late car because I think the W124 was in for about C plate, so B plate is really late. Looks lovely, doesn't it? Some of those touches, like those chrome mirror covers, just look right, and that, I guess, MB Tech's interior is worn well, probably worn a lot better than a leather interior would. Allegedly built like tanks, weren't they? And certainly this one's survived well, hasn't it? I'd love to have a drive of these. Anybody wants to offer me the opportunity to drive this, I'd be more than willing to take it. Thank you. Now most of the cars arrive, we'll try and do a bit of a pan round just to see the cars at the front, and I'll take you through the cars on the other side of it later. Very well attended, isn't it? Now, looking at the flutes on the wing, it's definitely a diesel Mercedes W201 190. But in this instance, I'm not sure. I guess it's probably the 2.5. We'll have a look in a second. Some subtle modifications and different lamps at the front, but still recognisably a 190. Actually, I'm beginning to doubt whether it is a diesel. I'll have to check with the owner or look on the DVLA database, but it looks like it's a 90 car, like my own, a facelifted car. This is lovely, this W126, and also quite unusual. I think that colour is probably a solid colour, and I can't imagine too many people specified a solid colour in a car like this. And here's a later W201. Looking at the body kit, the registration's a personal one with some certainly very smart looking wheels on. I'm not a fan of big wheels, but these actually suit the car quite well. Now here's a 2.6. Oh, doesn't that sound good? I need a 2.6 as well. Looks gorgeous, doesn't it? With a 2.6 and a body kit like that, you can ask yourself who needs a 16 valve version, can't you? I'm going a little bit further along, a lovely R129, yet another one. Now a later W202, not really appreciated so much, but this one is, I believe, a C43. Let's take a look. These have to rise in value at some stage because they're so unappreciated, but let's put it that way. The fact it's an AMG model with it, AMG engineering it, must make it rare and collectible at some stage. A late E-Class estate, an E320. And then, oh my god, two 190Es. They're like buses today. In fact, I've seen more than three. Two unusual colours. I think the first one there is Bornite. The second one, you know what, I'm going to have to get a brochure and have a look at that. I'll try and put that on screen if I remember. These are both facelifted cars, I think. Let's have a look at that first one. Yeah, they're both facelifted cars, so they've got the side cladding on there. But that first one looks to be a very early one, and maybe it's a cherished plate, I'm not sure. Second one looks like it's maybe a 90, I suspect. Nevertheless, a lovely car. Well, there are many lovely cars here today, as you'll see when, if you view the whole video till the end, there's some super looking cars. So here's a W108 280. Looks lovely, doesn't it? And actually those sort of semi-side walls that are in white just sort of work a little bit. Probably going to get run over here as I'm partly in the road, but I think it might be worth it possibly, or maybe not. So this is the S124, the estate. Another one in that Almudine red, I think, or maybe not. I'll check that. Beautiful condition, isn't it? Now there are so many cars here, I do have to cross the road to actually see this one, but this is at the same event. It's a Sl55 Amg. Now these, value-wise, are not that expensive. The best ones are climbing. I've seen a few at auction not so long ago. It's not all about value, because if you think about it, this particular vehicle has got a 5.5 litre, I think, or certainly over 5 litre AMG power plant. Now, the power plant alone's got to be worth the asking price, hasn't it? Probably, I think these are, in my opinion anyway, really stylish, and the fact it's certainly looks like a pillarless coupe, or I think there's a pillar behind the glass, actually really enhances the style of that vehicle. It just looks understated, just looks right, and it's, I guess, a fist in a velvet glove. And this is one of the run-out LE cars, as you can see there. Now I think they built about 1,000 cars. I know each of them came with a certificate and there was a limited number of colours. I appear to be in some sort of Mercedes traffic jam. And here we've got 2 generations of E-Class. I think from memory this is probably a W113 coupe. I'm blown away by this one, guys. Doesn't this colour look absolutely lovely? It's a J, so what, 70, 71 maybe? There's not really a bad angle on this car, this classic shape. Look at that huge glass area at the back. And virtually pillarless as well. And we've got a W126 coupe, the SEC, but this one's got a wide body kit fitted, which was quite tasteful, quite nice actually.
I just sold that one to a friend like last month. Silver. Yeah. Was it 320? It's 300.
And a 280 SEL, unmodified and unusually not with lowered suspension. Looks quite nice, doesn't it? The car park's still filling up, and it's filling up because somebody's brought this long wheelbase, and I mean long wheelbase, 560 SEL. It's on German plates and it goes on and on and on and on. Wow. Not sure what to say to that. Now this is a tasteful W126 with some interesting colour coded parts, but it does actually look quite good. I'm not always a fan of that, but in this instance that colour coded grille just seems to work, doesn't it? Well, to me anyway. And whilst I was walking around elsewhere, another S124 estate, a W124, again with a air suspension, and then, oh, this is a lovely colour, isn't it? What a tastefully modified SEC. Not sure about the year because it's got a private plate on, but it does look nice, doesn't it? What a great condition that one is. Now for this one I'm going to start off with the engine bay. Some interesting modifications. That's another coupe, of course. Seems to be the way here. That's lovely, isn't it? So, taking my life in my own hands in the middle of the road again, here's a nice R129 SL with German Offenbach, I think, plates on. It is a left-hand drive, so it could well be a German car. That interior is something else, isn't it? I hope you like red, because everything's red. Let's look at the front. That's quite nice. And a later E55 AMG compressor. And briefly, whilst there is no traffic, you can have a panoramic view of some of the cars here today. And here's a later 190 in a relatively unusual colour. I'll put that in the comments when I find out what that colour is. I can't remember at the moment. Looks good, doesn't it? Looks in good condition. Thankfully they haven't changed the indicators to white. Just a personal pet hate of mine. In nice order. Wow, look at those. Here we go, this beautiful, beautiful green S-Class, I think from 74, 75, looking in it. Looks lovely, doesn't it?
Joshua Tree National Park or something.
What about those lovely colour-coded wheel covers? Hubcaps, call them what you will. They look good, don't they? So here we are inside. The owners very kindly let me have a look inside this W116, the green one. Isn't this absolutely stunning? The original heater controls, and the leather is in absolutely beautiful order. You can see why these were so special back in the day, and my God, haven't they lasted well? So we've got those familiar mat pockets and plenty of space in the back. As you can see, this is an incredibly well attended event. I don't know how many cars are here, I haven't counted them all, but there certainly must be nearly 100. And this R107 has put the hood down as the sun's come out to play. Looks lovely, doesn't it, with that blue interior. Not sure you get too many cars with the blue interior these days, but it does sort of work, doesn't it? Especially with this blue exterior. And this particular C124 is having air suspension fitted, which seems to be, as you've seen, a very popular modification. So thanks for watching Lot 76 Cars at the Car Audio Security event, the Cars and Coffee Mercedes-Benz Club event in Hayes. It's been an absolutely fantastic day. Got a good chance to chat with some of the owners, which is great. Learned a lot more about some of these fantastic cars and fielded a few questions about my own car. And it's been a really great time. So thanks for watching and look forward to joining you on the next one.